Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into one of the most pivotal moments in human history, World War I, often called the Great War. It's a conflict that reshaped our world, and understanding it helps us understand so much about the present. So, buckle up, because we're going on a journey back in time to explore the causes, key moments, and profound aftermath of this monumental event. First off, let's set the stage. World War I wasn't just a small skirmish, it was a global conflict, primarily erupting in Europe, that raged from 1914 to 1918. Think of it as a massive domino effect, where nearly all the world's major powers got pulled in. On one side, we had the Allies, a powerful group initially comprising France, Britain, Russia, and Italy, with the United States joining later in a truly significant way. On the other side were the Central Powers, led by Germany, Austria-Hungary, the Ottoman Empire, and Bulgaria. It was a clash of titans, with alliances that had been brewing for years. Now, how did we even get to this point? It wasn't just one thing, but a cocktail of complex factors, often remembered by the acronym MAIN. Militarism, alliances, imperialism, and nationalism. Let's start with militarism. Imagine nations in an intense arms race, constantly building up their armies, and navies, convinced that a bigger, stronger military was the key to national security and prestige. This created an atmosphere of suspicion and rivalry, where every nation was essentially daring the others to make the first move. It's like everyone in the neighborhood constantly buying bigger and louder cars. Eventually someone's going to race. Then there were the alliances. Europe was a tangled web of treaties and agreements. If one country was attacked, its allies were obligated to come to its defense. While these alliances were initially formed to maintain peace through a balance of power, they ironically created a situation where a localized conflict could quickly spiral into a continental and then global war. It was like a giant house of cards. Touch one, and the whole thing comes down. Next, imperialism. European powers were fiercely competing for colonies and resources across Africa and Asia. This scramble for global dominance created deep-seated rivalries and tensions. Each nation wanted to expand its empire, believing that more territory meant more power and wealth. This competition wasn't just economic, it fueled national pride and often led to heated diplomatic standoffs. And finally, nationalism. This was a powerful force across Europe, where people had intense pride in their own nation, ethnicity, and culture. While nationalism can be a positive unifying force, in this context, it often manifested as a belief in national superiority, leading to desires for self-determination for ethnic groups and a readiness to fight for national interests. This fervent patriotism could be easily manipulated, pushing populations towards conflict. So, you had all these ingredients simmering, and then came the spark that lit the fuse: the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria-Hungary in June 1914. He was the heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne, and his killing by a Serbian nationalist in Sarajevo was the immediate catalyst that set the complex alliance system in motion. Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia, Russia mobilized to support Serbia, Germany declared war on Russia and France, and soon, Britain declared war on Germany. Just like that, Europe, and then the world, was engulfed in war. Once the war began, its nature quickly became unprecedented. One of the most defining features was trench warfare, especially on the Western Front. Soldiers dug vast networks of trenches, stretching for hundreds of miles across France and Belgium, living in incredibly harsh conditions, often for months on end. It was a brutal stalemate, with both sides suffering horrific casualties as they tried to gain mere yards of territory. Life in the trenches was truly unimaginable: mud, disease, constant shelling, and the terrifying no man's land between the lines. This war also saw the introduction of terrifyingly new and deadly weapons that changed warfare forever. Machine guns, for instance, could mow down advancing soldiers in seconds, contributing to the scale of casualties. Tanks, initially clunky and unreliable, made their debut, attempting to break through trench lines. Poison gas, a truly horrific weapon, caused unimaginable suffering and forced soldiers to carry gas masks. Airplanes, initially used for reconnaissance, soon became tools for aerial combat and bombing. Submarines or U-boats played a crucial role in naval warfare, particularly in the Atlantic. These innovations, while technologically impressive, amplified the war's destructive power. The human cost was staggering. Millions of soldiers lost their lives, and millions more were wounded, many suffering from injuries that would impact them for the rest of their lives. Beyond the battlefield, civilians also suffered immensely, facing shortages, disease, and the direct impact of conflict. The sheer scale of loss was unprecedented in human history. As the war dragged on, a pivotal moment arrived in 1917 when the United States officially joined the conflict on the side of the Allies. This was a game changer. The fresh troops, industrial might, and economic resources of the U.S. provided a much-needed boost to the exhausted Allied forces. By 1918, after years of intense fighting, the Central Powers began to crumble. One by one, their allies sought armistices. Finally, on November 11, 1918, Germany agreed to an armistice, effectively ending the fighting. That date, November 11th, is now commemorated as Armistice Day or Veterans Day in many countries, a day to remember the sacrifices made. The fighting might have stopped, but the war's aftermath was just beginning to unfold. In 1919, the Treaty of Versailles was signed, officially ending the war. This treaty was particularly harsh on Germany, holding it responsible for the war and imposing severe penalties, including territorial losses, military restrictions, and massive reparations payments. While intended to ensure lasting peace, many historians argue that the treaty's harshness fostered resentment in Germany, contributing to future instability. The map of Europe was redrawn dramatically. Empires like Austria-Hungary and the Ottoman Empire dissolved, and new nations emerged from their former territories. This restructuring, while reflecting national aspirations in some cases, also created new sources of tension and conflict. Ultimately, World War I had profound and lasting consequences. It caused immense political instability across Europe, leading to economic hardship and social unrest. Many historians believe that the unresolved issues, the deep-seated grievances, and the economic devastation left in its wake created fertile ground for the rise of extremist ideologies and leadership, tragically setting the stage for an even greater global conflict just 2 decades later. World War II. Understanding World War I isn't just about dates and battles. It's about appreciating the incredible resilience of people during unimaginable hardship and learning crucial lessons about international relations, diplomacy, and the devastating consequences of unchecked ambition and unresolved conflicts. It reminds us of the importance of dialogue, cooperation, and working together to build a more peaceful and stable world. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey through history. If you found this video insightful, please hit that like button, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss our next historical deep dive. We appreciate your support more than words can say. Stay curious, and I'll see you in the next one.